And welcome to Aviatize's Feature Friday. Every Friday we unpack a new feature that has come to life in Aviatize, and every week I invite different people to come and talk about that feature. This week it is Chris, our CTO, who's joining us from Belgium. Hey Chris, how are you?
Hi, hey Tom, I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to showing the newest features in Aviatize.
Yeah. So last last week we unveiled the Aviatize 3.8, latest release. It came with a lot of features. Which feature did you select to come and talk about this week?
Yeah, so like there's a lot of incremental improvements as we continuously do, make the system better. But we also have one bigger new module, like the checking module, in which exams can be prepared for students, and students can then online fill in their progress test or internal tests before they would go to the authorities to perform their exams, maybe to get their release and so on.
Okay,
So
let's have a look to the checking module in
yeah,
Aviatize.
checking, not check-in, checking.
Checking.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I'll pull it up here. So the checking module, yeah, is kind of part of the training module in a way, or it relates heavily to it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So yeah. Meanwhile, I started sharing my screen. So but to give a bit of background, what we're doing, and in fact, while we read it, you'll also see that like the main module that's visually the biggest change we've applied in the latest update, that the submenus will also be accessible from the sidebar. So, and also with the new checking module, that happens this way. So this way you can immediately open the exam subject, exams that you've prepared, or actual exams that have been done or have been assigned to students in the exam enrollments. So how does that work? So you can define as many exam subjects as you want here. And so just for the demo, I prepared a few subjects here, and I let my AI generate some questions, typically suitable for a PPL course. So these are here, and so like as everything in Aviatize, you basically already know how it works because you can just add an exam subject like this, give it a name, a description, and inside of that you can import questions. So the export functionality is here. As soon as you make one example, you can just export the file, add a whole bunch of questions, and import them again. And it's really convenient with these files to also just for this case to generate the questions, review it, and get it in there. So that's currently done outside of the system, of course. So I've also added questions for aerodynamics here, and so that's just like your knowledge base, right? So you would put the subjects with questions there, then to use that, you would prepare different exams. You can say, okay, I make an exam, I give it a description, a time limit, and then you can add one or more subject in it. And you would be saying, okay, like how many questions will there be for that exam and what will be the pass threshold? So for example, here, the aerodynamics exam has 16 questions and you will pass if you have 75% correct. To add a subject, you just go here, but that's maybe for the training video. So what's probably most interesting now is like how does this fit in the system, and why is this relevant? So now you can just assign these exams that we've created. You can just choose one of those, and we can assign it to a whole class at once if we want. So we can assign the whole PPL class this aerodynamics exam, and we say in which period they need to complete it, or we can also just do it for one individual user, of course. So plenty of options there. And perhaps we want to just do one now for Mr. Charles. So we're gonna say he can do it over the next 2 weeks. And now we've invited Charles for this exam. So what's great here?
For all clarity here, Chris, we are looking at on the admin side of the school, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, Tom. So, like in this account, Glenn Novak here is preparing the exam for the for the students. So he might want to make one for one user, but he also might want to make 10 exams for a whole class, perhaps. That's all very easy. And now because now we're in the checking module itself, but of course, just like with all the other things, if we go to the user detail page of Charles, to which we assigned this exam, we can look at his training information, but now the checking module is also integrated here, and we could also straight away from here invite him to a different exam as well. So should we want to give him also
there are multiple ways how you can assign an exam to an individual or to a group of individuals.
Yes, of course. So like in these traditional systems, you would have to go to every div module to get something done. But in Aviatize, you can just look at the user detail page and do all kind of different actions straight from that page. And you can pull it up basically from everywhere. So I came here from the exam enrollments page, and you see right away here, there is now an aerodynamics and a meteor exam. So that's a bit the setup. If you would, what's also interesting is if you assign one exam to a whole class of people, then the system will generate a different exam based on the questions in the system. So if your exam, your subject contains a few hundred questions and you need 16, everybody will basically get a different mix of questions. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if somebody would be doing it a bit later, they can't really cheat because the exam, is individually adjusted.
Got it.
So, any other question, Tom, or should we go to the
Let's
other
go.
side? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
let's go.
let's have a look what it looks like from the students' side then.
Yeah, so I prepared a login in a private session. Apparently, it closed it down. But here we were logged in as Charles. So now I should wear my different hat, my student hat, and yeah, as you see, I have like far less menus in the sidebar, and I should see my exam showing up here. I think I'll yeah. So here in the sidebar, I can see my exams. So I see I have an aerodynamics exam and a meteor exam to be performed. So I can now just open it up because I'm ready to start it. And look, do you want to attend the exam? Yes, we do. So now it says we have 30 minutes and we can start the exam. And now the hard part begins, of course. So now we need to say, we need to answer the questions. We have 30 minutes. The countdown is going. And there are 16 questions to answer. So Tom, now you will need to give me a hand, I think, because it's been a while. So yeah, what's the purpose of the vertical stabilizer? Yes, that should be the yaw, right, Tom? Vertical stabilizer controls the yaw. Yeah, and we save our answer and we go to the next one. And then we go, what's the stall? The stall occurs when the angle of attack exceeds the critical angle. That sounds like the right answer.
So this video is a public example.
Yeah. What is thrust? Thrust is the force that propels the aircraft forwards. Yeah, that seems very fine.
So we came to the end of the exam. We finished 16 out of 16 questions. Now what do we do?
Yeah, so now we can just submit our exam. So once we're ready, and we might want to go back and forth and see like, okay, everything looks good to me. Okay, then we're going to submit our exam, and hooray, hurrah, we see we're passed. In this case, I'm not allowed to see the actual results in this setup, but I can already see that I passed the exam, which is amazing. Time to party, right?
Well, thank God we passed it.
Thank God he passed it.
Yeah. So the student immediately gets the result at the end, but for the individual questions, he needs to get back in touch with the instructor.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So for the individual questions, they would get back to their instructors. So we might want to have a look at how that
So now you
looks. So we
switched
did,
again. You switched
yeah,
to a
yeah. I
different
switched with a
account.
swipe of the finger on the touchpad, and I switched between two different browser screens. So this is Glenn Novak back. And we want to see the aerodynamics exam. And look, here we have it. So we actually made a mistake, but just one. So we have 15 out of 16 correct.
That's the one you
And
decided to answer wrong, right?
yes, that's the one we decided to answer wrong. So, and okay, so yeah, so of course the good questions don't need to, but look, here we saw, here we could lure Charles into making a mistake, Tom. So he made a mistake on the lift question, in fact. So, and this way we can now, yeah, explain him why he got just 15 out of 16 correct, right? So
Well, that's good.
that's great, and all the others were right.
Yeah. So where does the checking module benefit flight schools?
Flight schools, well, yeah. So nowadays, yeah, this is one of these things that's often still done on paper, or yet again in a different tool. So, like as you know, they have to use up to 10 different tools. They're all not synchronized. It's a nightmare to operate, in fact. So this is one of the next tools that can go out of the window and is just combined into Aviatize. The great thing is it's not just about decreasing tools, guys. It's broader than that, of course, because like by having it in the same system, you have your users, you can assign it to the same students, and soon it will also integrate with better, deeper with the training module. So if you schedule a progress test, the progress test will already be prepared from the planning slot you've prepared earlier. It would just be there and you can just start the test right away. So it's just all more seamless. That's just the thing. Also, it can make a document then it generate automatically a document that this exam is passed. So otherwise, somebody somewhere need to set up like, okay, this student is passed for this exam and now can proceed to the next stage of the training. This way, it would all be integrated, of course.
A very practical use case here would be somebody that needs to go or fly a certain aircraft, whether they are renting it in a flying club environment or they're doing this in a flight school environment. That will, for example, first do a theoretical knowledge test on the aircraft, knowledge of the POH or the flight manual or something, and that they would ideally pass the check, the exam, and the exam module will then generate the required documents for somebody to be able to fly, to rent that plane.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're also making a whole bunch of improvements in the documents module, and like, yeah, it all connects, right? Like you need to keep track of who has documents to be able to fly a certain aircraft, to be able to rent even a meeting room, or even for the mechanics to be able to continue to perform their duties. So, like the system can keep track of these things already since years, right? And we can set up the different libraries, we can make document types and validate whether they exist. Nowadays, we allow to set required documents for students in the different syllabuses on the roles of the users, or even on the dedicated aircraft. Yeah, like there's too many ways to do it, so I'm going to stop there. But like these documents would now be automatically generated from an exam as well, and probably very soon also just from a checkout. So because like we know we do already automatic upgrades for a student status, right? The student status needs to go up to be able to do the next stage of events. Well, yeah, for a lot of these things, it's also relevant to say, okay, now you're eligible to fly a certain aircraft or
Yeah.
to fly a certain type of flight. Let's
Yeah.
say the solo flights are booked in a different type,
Yeah.
then that document can unlock automatically that thing.
Yeah.
So from different angles.
And in fact, there is so the value of this module is multiple. Eh? It's first of all it's the possibility to do a recorded digital exam inside the system, and you always keep track of all your records in one place.
Yeah,
Second of all, it ensures that people are where they're supposed to be, and somebody who didn't pass a certain exam shouldn't be in a certain aircraft, for example, shouldn't be in the wrong state. So it's actually
yes.
giving the operator a lot of peace of mind, uh, getting everything into one system. Not only the training setup, but also the checking that comes with it. So it's multiple benefits. Do you see another one?
Yes. Yeah, so it's indeed the record keeping is just like the base layer, but it's the deep integration with these other tools and keeping track of things automatically, reducing the workload of setting up the exam and performing it and correcting it. Because still today, as you know, many of them would be doing this on paper, right?
Yeah.
These documents have to be corrected manually. It might seem so obvious to do it digitally and have automatically the answer there,
Yeah.
but like maybe half of the schools is still just doing this on paper, right?
Yeah.
So it
Let me
takes
ask you a
time. It's
question. Let me ask you a question that I feel the people who are watching this video might ask themselves. Um,
yes.
how do we know it is actually Charles Long who did the exam?
Yeah, well, so of course, Aviatize also has two-factor authentication in the system built in. So as that's set up in your organization, the people would need to log in with their two-factor authentication code, and so that way, that's another layer of security, another layer of proof that yeah, it is Charles that's actually performing the exam. Um, but yeah, so if you want to do it for an official exam as well, it's also possible to do it, of course, in the office, like the paper exams, right? These are still
Yeah.
done in the office, in the meeting room, so everybody has to come and they do it there.
Yeah.
So we would just only activate the exam when they are all present and only for whoever is present. So that will be the integration from the planning module. And before they are allowed to leave, we will validate whether the exam is completed.
And that would then work with like we have already the event where the execution of the event will be who is present and then an attendee list
Of course,
will be
yes.
digitally filled out and then we can see is everybody here needs to do
Yes.
the exam. Yeah, okay, got it.
Yes, yes, it fills the gap. So everybody comes, their presence is recorded, and from that flow, the exams could be started right away. So on the training events, there will be subjects soon. So the subjects will be possible for the theory for the ground school events, and then we can do a progress test or even an exam there, and record what's needed. So that will help our integrated flight schools a lot to make this whole process much more easy and seamless and yeah, it will be easier to track things.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for unpacking the checking module, new in Aviatize since release 3.8. There's a lot more in 3.8. If you like to find out more about all these new features or in general about Aviatize, we'll drop a link below this video to schedule yourself a personalized demo. You can also find out more on our website, aviatize.com. And we'll be back with more videos like this. If you like these videos, let us know. If you like to see more, let us know as well. And yeah, see you soon, Chris.
Yeah, hit thumbs up, like, subscribe,
Yeah,
all the things, right?
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe down below.
Down below.
Okay, see you.